Welcome back to some professional StarCraft 2, a highlight match from the ultimate showdown put on by Team Alpha X. Just one game, though probably not the shortest one, as I've been led to believe, but featuring two of the most dramatic and exciting players, though maybe for differing reasons. Let me first introduce one of the Terrans. It's impossible not to... Impossible! Try it! And like and subscribe when you fail. Impossible not to love. It is ByuN. Sticking to his principles, his Marines, Marauders, and Medevacs, at least the vast majority of the time, for better or for worse. Now, a man who arguably has no principles, or if he did, it would simply be winning. He doesn't care what your idea of honor, or macro, or fair game, or known for ruining series and matches at the highest of levels, and being one of the greatest threats outside of Europe for Zerg. Of course, it is Dragon Phoenix Gaming's Rogue. The antagonist in many tournaments before, and I'm sure again. Rogue will do what it takes to win, and he'll do it better than most. Like, he's just a killer. Even if it is a boring roach time, like if Terrans get too greedy. Oh my, speaking of greedy, actually I have to talk about Command Center first from ByuN. So, a little bit ironically, getting a CC first is actually more defendable than getting... Wait. That's not going to work, right? Wait, yeah, he saw the command center. So he built the barracks away from the ramp after the CC first. I think he was expecting... Or the idea is Rogue comes in with the Overlord, sees no barracks at the ramp, and backs off because, oh my god, he's proxying me. But Rogue was undeterred. He saw the command center, so he knows there is no barracks waiting for him. In fact, if there is a barracks, it's somewhere in ByuN's base. That's all he needs to know. And now ByuN, he saw how far the Overlord went. He knows he scouted the command center first. So an attempt at a mind game here. But I do want to say that the command center first is actually less vulnerable to the earlier pools because your command center finishes before the Zerglings could get there. That doesn't mean they can't force it to lift, but if you go for a 1-Rax expand and they go for a pool first and you either don't scout it or the Reaper's out of position or whatever, you may very well get your command center delayed or canceled. So the command center first can be considered a more defensive play, depending on how you use it. Of course, since Rogue already knows all the relevant info, he's just going to sit back. The opportunity to punish it has already passed, at least for now. Building queens, getting metabolic boost. Since ByuN refuses to just play normal, he's now going for the most creative version of building a Viking I have ever seen. Maybe this is him acknowledging that Rogue likes roach timings? He's building 2 Cyclones, a Medevac, and he's going to have the Marines for it. Is he, like... Okay, he's going to... Both of these are the quirky, different version of... Oh, what a fake out. ByuN is really trying to mind game Rogue. Or he just didn't press the D... Okay. So now there are 2 Cyclones. You rarely see Cyclones just as a unit to open up with in this matchup. And if so, usually it's just 1. But here we have 2. Maybe this is to possibly snipe down queens? Interesting. There's an armory on the way, but he's already getting stim as well. This is a Bio-Curious build here? He's sniping OVs and he's locked onto a queen. Yeah, this is definitely new. I have no idea Well, so the Cyclones are annoying to the Queens, but while the patch means they can't transfuse off a creep, there's plenty of creep to go around. And the armory's coming up, what, for Hellbats? I think everyone knows my feelings on Hellbats. And how mediocre and impotent they are, especially as an opener against someone who's been building Queens. Unfortunately, Rogue, everything, like ByuN keeps trying to hit him with the curveballs. Rogue is just sitting there waiting to knock it out of the park. Rogue has a baneling nest, the Zergling spotted, the Hellions coming across. There's plenty of Queens. Like, here come the banelings down the ramp. Decent spread for ByuN, but Zerglings around the back. A little bit of an off. No, he crushed it. He completely crushed it. He absolutely obliterated it. It wasn't even close. He just slapped it down like it shouldn't even be in the same league. And right now, it feels like it shouldn't. Well, that was terrible. ByuN trying, slipping, juking, jiving, whipping his sword out, spinning it around. And then Rogue pulls out his pistol and just shoots him in the head. I have no idea. ByuN over here trying out the whole outfit of openers. But Rogue is now at 70 drones. He has a lair. 1-1 is a little quicker for ByuN. But Rogue is in a completely comfortable position with, and now especially since all of this was shut down and there wasn't like even the Marines with it. So there's not really a big like stim medevac follow-up either. It is a bit of a bio-curious build though from ByuN. He's got +1. I mean, he has the armory. You gotta make it look like it was from more than 4 terrible Hellbats. I think there's a conspiracy to make it seem like Hellbats are a viable unit, where Terrans don't just open up Hellions, so that way maybe, or not Hellbats are viable, Hellbats are terrible, so that way Hellbats get buffed. But when you buff the Hellbat, you kind of are also buffing the Hellion. So it's a conspiracy to get the Hellion buffed indirectly via the Hellbat. Nothing else makes sense to me. Because every single time for like the last 2 years I've seen a Hellbat attack, it just dies. It just doesn't do anything. It does less than nothing. But I digress. Well, Rogue is taking, you know, the whole map. He's got creep spreading over halfway now. ByuN can't really challenge it because his anything else was delayed from that early attack. A scan spots there's no hive. And very little else. No gas on that one gas geyser, but there's gas on almost all the others. Liberator, very annoying. Triple Evo from Rogue. 2 was not enough. ByuN making sure that Liberator doesn't get pushed out of position. This is, I don't think this is a mistake. I think this is just acknowledging, well, we're going to very likely see lurkers later on. And honestly, Evo chambers are not expensive. I'm surprised more people don't do this. Rogue has no preconceptions. He does what it takes. And even if other people, like, Rogue is not the person who looks at other players and says, oh, that's a good idea. He makes the ideas. And other people have to follow suit. He's a trendsetter. Even if those trends are very hard to follow. Well, here comes Rogue. He's got 95 drones. He's got a hive on the way. He's got a Hydralisk den. He's missing the lurker den. ByuN with a kind of a sad amount of Marines here, but the banelings not quite enough. The creep is now on his doorstep. Nearly within reach of the third and the natural. Sensor tower on the high ground. A drop was scouted and shut down by the creep, which is spreading over the entire map. We're less than 10 minutes in. There's almost 100 creep tumors. Nearly 100 drones. And nearly 100 Zerglings. Rogue keeping it 100 right now. As they say. Meanwhile, Banelings looking to roll through. Sensor tower, double the overlap. You can never be too careful. Also, that sensor tower is pretty vulnerable. Tanks in a nice position where the Zerglings can't close in until the minerals start to mine out. Rogue doing what no one else seems to remember, which is taking down the rocks to the not-so-island base to the south. The amount of times that base is taken is so low, even in the super-ultra late game. I think Rogue's just going to grab it immediately. He's already got the north. And, yeah, it looks like the early game floundering, combined with the defensive nature of the map, have led us directly into the late game. There have been no decisive attacks or even failed attacks since then. Rogue has just grabbed the whole map. He's got Hive, Lurker Den, and upgrades, triple upgrades, adrenal glands. ByuN is building 4 ghosts at a time. He's got his gold base as well. I think Rogue is just going to try to batter him down with 2 extra bases of economy. Because it's very hard to actually go toe-to-toe with the cost efficiency of ghosts. So Rogue is just making it so he doesn't need to. While it's been a quiet bit for the last 5 or so minutes, that's about to end. Both players are nearly maxed. ByuN has to push back against this. Otherwise, it's just going to keep getting worse. Rogue has no reason to sit back. Look at his bank. Brenda! I know. We can't transfuse off creep. Well, then give me creep everywhere. Here come the banelings from every side. What are the ghosts even going to snipe at this stage? Banelings crash through the front line. Zerglings cleaned up. The retreating units are sniped out. How much did ByuN lose? He lost a little bit less, though slightly more gas. Round 1. Well, round 1 went to Rogue, but I'm going to restart the clock on this one. Round 1 is a draw. But now the ties favor whoever has 2 more bases. While the orbital count, he's up to 4 orbitals right now. He's adding on more, as well as the planetaries. I bet this will end up being a planetary as well. What a defensive position. We're 12 and a half minutes in. We're already trying to figure out what upgrades they don't have. Yeah, I think we're going to get used to hearing that scan noise. Oh, a 3-3 finishing up. Handful of Marines. What is the army composition? We have 67 banelings for Rogue. The battering ram. With a handful. He has more banelings than Zerglings. We need sound packs for scans. I've said this before, but where is my scan? Come on. Literally dozens of dollars in ideas here. Why don't they hire me? Who wouldn't love to hear that? Anyways, well, here comes the neighborhood. Everything on the way through. So many banelings. Vipers also getting involved. Though really not finding any opportunity. The banelings, tanks taking out a huge chunk as the ghosts saunter away. And you know what? I don't think he expected the tank line to be quite so deep. Lurkers tried to move up towards the north. That one was definitely a win for ByuN. Round 2. A whole lot of gas. 96 banelings. Rogue winds up with 100 more lings. Oh, he's not gonna stop. We're just gonna keep going. Even if he kills half as much as ByuN does. ByuN is denied one of the bases, and Rogue has 2 extra. Rogue is going full Zerg right now. Another wave. Yeah, ByuN sees it. The ghost count reaching a critical mass. There's only 8 Marines and 2 Marauders. Well, here we go again. Baneling count pretty damn high. The ghosts need to get out of there or pick up. I think it'll be the second. The ghost moving into the natural. Baneling's finding some decent connections here. Hydra's clearing up a handful of the tanks and liberators. 112 Zerglings as Rogue challenges himself to see how many larvae he can bank at one time. 120 Zerglings! 132. Okay, so he could have had more larvae, is the summary. 132 Zerglings in production. Which leads directly into 46 more banelings. He's lost 128 of 45 banelings. I'm just gonna start saying numbers dramatically. Give me 20, 25, 30 banelings, 30 banelings. Can I get 35, 35, 40, 40, 40, 45 banelings, 45 banelings to the Zerg who has no morals, 45 banelings to the Zerg. Thank you very much. And sold. Well, is that enough? Here we go again. Vipers. Ghost will cloak this time around. Vipers coming in over the top. The turrets to zone out. The tank line deep yet again, but is it deep enough? The orbitals will lift a full retreat, but the ghosts hit by another wave. This time ByuN taking palpable damage. Even on gas, 7,000 minerals more for Rogue, who has 92 Zerglings and sprinkles in 13 more Hydralisks. Again! Again! 18 Banes. His income is insane. 4,000 minerals, 1,300 gas. I think we're actually catching... He's about to mine out of the main. Literally seconds away from some of these gas geysers. So he's going to have to grab those middle bases. And at this point, ByuN realizes he's mining from the 6 o'clock base as well. So, what are we at? 60 banelings! Do it again! I thought I was done playing tower defense tonight, but ByuN is up to 177 supply. He's producing at the quickest he can. He's got a wall of command centers. But Rogue doesn't seem to have any intention to do anything but go right up the center. Yeah, a burrowed Zergling, changelings. Rogue? I guess he's kind of acknowledging his gas is starting to get a little thin here. He's only got 1,200 a minute, though he's lost the same amount. He's killed a lot of ghosts with this. 15 ghosts for the low price of 154 banelings. What a bargain! What are the mech weapons upgrades? +2, +3 finishing as we speak. That is about like a campaign level defense. But Rogue, does he care? He does not. Here we go again. Grab some tanks. Banelings rolling through. Cloak on the ghost. Through the double tier tank liberator line. A few abducts, but into what? Brings the ghost closer. And this time around, Rogue bit off a little more than he could chew. A lot more, actually, as ByuN comes out of it looking good. 110 Zerglings could definitely help solve the problem. But ByuN keeps enough ghosts alive and has the tanks intact. At some point, Abduct isn't... He's sniping drones, of all things. Rogue. Again! In fact, with that many tanks, honestly, banelings are possibly less of a choice than the Zerglings themselves. But I mean, we've gone this far. The creep is... It's trying to get past the command centers. Does it see them? Yes. You can see the planetary orbital wall at the edge of the creep. Which is... ByuN has grabbed another base, though. Well, here comes some Vipers. A fleet of Overseers. The phalanx of ghosts. Is it enough? Drag some more tanks. The Bio Ball is holding the line. The banelings cannot close the distance. And ByuN will hold. 100 more. Again. Again. 230 banelings. 577 Zerglings. Again. Rogue is committed and confident he will be able to batter ByuN into submission. If ByuN is able to deny the 6 o'clock base and hold his what could be considered a third, it might be enough. Rogue is still wielding a massive economy and crashing it down on ByuN over and over. Oh my. Yeah, well, that's a lot. Upgrades are pretty much max. +3 mech is on the way. Oh, he's considering those rocks. He's considering them slightly again! Here we go! The banelings! Ghost splitting back. Viper's looking for... He tries Blinding Cloud. Banelings close the distance. A few ghosts die. You can hear them more than see it. The Hydraless. Not enough. ByuN holds, but this time... Well, he got some damage. He actually is going to kill the hatch, which is probably the least meaningful thing. Another 100 lings, but ByuN took some significant damage there. He lost even more ghosts. Down goes the hatch, but that is the easiest thing in the world to replace. Again! ByuN is at 150 supply. He's dropping. Rogue is maxed. If at first you don't succeed, build 1,000 more Zerglings and talk to me. The Zerglings just run over the base. ByuN just doesn't have that much meat in his composition. Like, he's got all icing, no cake right now. The ghosts and the tanks, but almost nothing in between. Noticeably, Rogue gave up on lurkers after 3 and hasn't built a single infester. Lings, Lisks, and a handful of Vipers that have felt useless half the time. How many Vipers has he lost? 4. It's been quite effective with those. No. I mean, at some point, you run out of minerals. The snipes across the board. He just drags his magic gun across them. The mule hammer will drop as ByuN tries to suck up as many minerals as he can to try to get back to some sort of... Again! The Vipers are coming in. The tank line is deep in the concave. Orbitals block the path. Blinding Cloud. EMP off the mark, but the Ghosts still find an opportunity. Blinding Cloud's very good, but the snipes catch everything as Rogue turns it. 78? He's actually out of larva. Larva is the limiting factor. Again. The incomes. Oh, we don't have the fancy tab. But they're starting to drop for Rogue, but they're also dropping for ByuN. Let's look at that units lost. 20,000 more, but the gas count is even. Rogue is not maxed because he didn't have the larva, but he's going to try to run this base down. The banelings crashing through. Ghost standing their ground. Oh, wait a... Whoa! Well... Rogue dipping precipitously in supply, immediately replenished with whatever he can. He has the money. He's got 3 hatches in his main, which are a fraction of his 10 in total. But ByuN holds the line. He's down to 25 SCVs. He's got not that many ghosts. 8 ghosts, 7 tanks, 5 liberators. Rogue, what's your plan? Again. Despite the relatively thin supply, the defenses are quite... The multi-layered defense. Rogue is maxed out. He's building gas geysers. He hasn't even mined gas from the northern base. This is about as much of a war of attrition as you're ever going to see. Here we go. Most of the bio is split towards the north side. Vipers coming in late to the party to try to keep the ghosts on location. Blinding clouds are good. The Liberators are picking off any of the retreating units, but the ghosts were hit by the Banes. The ghost count, he's lost 40. He's down to 1. That is not the number you're looking for. Rogue, his bank is gone. Both players are wondering how long the other can keep this up. They have both fielded at least 100 supply armies in pretty much all these fights. Neither is entirely clear. Like, Rogue knows that ByuN only has so much money left. But ByuN knows that Rogue has been insanely at least mineral inefficient. So, right now, it's still a bit of a guessing game. One particularly bad fight on either side could still swing it. But the loss of the ghost is a huge deal. Like, mules don't really matter because right now we're just counting how many minerals are left. Look at how many have been mined. Rogue has mined 18,000 more. He's lost 20k more. But how many are left? We don't have that count, actually, but you can look at the patches. There's still 1.5 bases for Rogue to half a base for ByuN. Lurkers. He killed the ghosts, and he adds the lurkers in. I mean, this proves to you that Rogue is paying attention. If it's mass ghost, you go with the mass unit. You don't give it an opportunity to snipe. But you kill the ghosts, there's not a critical mass. The lurkers start working through the cheaper but easier to build Marine Marauder. And the lurkers are closing the distance. Rogue slows the fight down. Yanks at our ghost! EMP! A parting shot. The orbital forced to lift. But Rogue has chosen lurkers as the finishing blow, and I think the timing has been perfect. Tanks are okay. They do outrange the lurkers, but it is dicey. The army supplies are 130 to 110, but ByuN needs to mine. He has no minerals anywhere else. This is it. Yanks the tanks in at an awkward time with his lurkers unburrowed. ByuN's just splitting and stimming. He's going for it, but the lurkers are too damn strong. Lings from the north holds the line. Only a couple medevacs left over, but the Lings were a bit mistimed. The Queens! They're on creep. They're the anti-air. Starting to work through the Liberators. EMPs the Queens. Rogue is pushed back up against a wall he chose. ByuN has... the supplies are even. The army supplies, rather. He's still mining from this base. Vipers are back in the fray. 5 ghosts against 2 Vipers. Yanks a tank. Parasitic bomb on a single Liberator. Good reaction, but here comes ByuN. He can't actually heal all these units. Banelings rolling in. Lurkers trying to make the difference. Ghosts tanking on the front line. Are there enough for snipe? ByuN, even on army supply. We're out of money. We're at the last line of defense for both sides. Spore crawlers at the front. The tank count is tiny. The medevacs are completely out of energy and almost out of HP. Snipes on the lurkers with a few ghosts left over. Rogue still has mining. ByuN is out of gas. He needs these refineries. Rogue, with that extra base, is still holding. If he had a few more ghosts. But the ghost count, Rogue has spent everything on putting them down. And that unlocks the lurkers as an option. And that is a lot of lurkers. 14 lurkers. ByuN, so close. Now even closer. Thanks to the Vipers. But there's just no gas. The lurkers are mostly unchallenged. The bio army is splitting up a ramp against lurkers. The Queens have transfused. The Marines are gone. And Rogue finishes him. Oh my god. He lost 1,795 units. And he could lose a few dozen more. We're actually off the counter. Because it's not designed for 4 digits. The font size is too large. 1,135 Zerglings. 341 banelings. I don't know, 7, 8, 9, 10 waves of Zerg. And eventually ByuN broke. And it wasn't, to ByuN's credit, it was not that he broke so much as he withered away. That sounds worse, but it's actually a compliment, as any one of those attacks could have broken him. But it did require the lurkers for the finishing blow. Wow, what a cinematic Zerg. Rogue, you could tell, that's Rogue's, I mean, take a look. Rogue is one of, if not the most decisive player in StarCraft 2. There is no hesitation. He decides that this is the strategy. And so it is. Rogue takes it. Like, subscribe, ring the bell. Thank you, Alpha X, for putting on these matches. Wow. I guess ghosts aren't everything. They're a lot. That was a lot. Thank you for watching. Good luck, have fun. I'll see you next time. Stay chill.